If tests and elses and else ifs are very crucial and fundamental to programming. And before we think about doing the program, we want to think about what the program's going to look like. So in this video, we're going to use Visio, which is a simple flowchart modeling tool where we can think about the ifs and the elses that we're going to model in the program that's coming. First of all, we're going to model a car creation site. I'm looking at Ford here. Toyota does a very similar thing, although they do it on multiple screens. But for this, I kind of like the look and feel here for our example because we get some immediate feedback. In other words, we have 3 cab sizes: regular, super cab, super crew. We have 3 bed sizes: small, medium, and large. We're going to call it that. Also for super crew, that's a trademark of Ford. I'm going to call that double cab, which is kind of a more generic term. So let's take a look. Super cab, I can have the long bed, I can have the medium bed, I cannot have the short bed. Super crew, I can have the short bed, I can have the medium bed, I cannot have the long bed. Regular cab, I can have the long bed, I can have the medium bed. Sorry. Oh, come on. Oh, I know what it is. Sorry, it's something else down here. Just a moment. We're going to fix this. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. Okay. Regular cab, I can have the medium bed, or I can have the long bed, but I cannot have the short bed. And the reason is that there's a wheelbase. The more size that's taken up by the cab, the less that's available for the bed. So I want to model this. I want to model all of the correct and incorrect combinations that we can have between cab and bed length. So for regular, again, regular and super cab cannot do short. So regular cab cannot do short, but it can do medium or long. Same with super cab, we cannot do short, but we can do medium and long. And then the double cab can do short and medium, but double cab cannot do long because the wheelbase simply isn't long enough. So let's take a look in Visio. Okay, we know that when we start a program, we're typically going to start with a lozenge. So let's put a little start lozenge right here in the middle top. And then all programs will have one start lozenge and one end lozenge. So I'll go ahead and put my end lozenge down at the bottom. Okay. Now the decision symbol is going to be this diamond, and that's the only symbol that can have 2 output paths. So let's start with the decision. Let's start with a simple one. We'll say double cab, question mark. Okay, we're going to start with the start, and I'm going to click the down arrow, which is going to draw a line to this double cab decision. And let's have an arrow come out of here and go to another decision. And well, 1 second. I'll tell you what I can do. I'll just kind of mouse over the right arrow here and click on the diamond, and there we go. And then we'll say long bed, question mark. Okay. And what I'll do now is I'm going to take a process box, and we're going to say show error message. Okay, because that's something that can't have. You can't have double cab and long bed. Okay. We want to label these axes as well. So I'm going to say double cab yes. And then for long bed, we'll draw an arrow here, and we'll say long bed yes, show error message. Okay. What I would typically do is come back up and prompt for input again. But in my simple example, I'm going to draw a line from here all the way down to end and just assume that the user is going to restart the program. Okay. Long bed, let's take this out to another process box, and let's say long bed is no. Well, remember, you can do the double cab with the medium or short bed. You can't do it with the long bed. So for this, we're going to say valid, show valid confirmation. And then after that, we're simply going to go to end. So you see, in this case, we have captured an error scenario, which is double cab with a long bed. And we have captured also a valid scenario, which is double cab with anything that is not a long bed. And by process of elimination, that would be medium bed or short bed. Okay, now remember, the process box can only have one output, which you see here. The diamond can have 2. As a matter of fact, we almost expect the diamond to have 2. The long bed diamond has 2, but the double cab diamond does not. So let's handle the case where the user chose something that's not a double cab. I'm going to take this to another decision box. So we're going to say double cab, and then we're going to say no. Okay. We'll say super cab. Okay. And if it's not a double cab, if it's not a super cab, then what does it have to be? A regular cab. So let's do one more regular cab. Okay. Okay. And then we'll say no here again. So the decision we're walking through, did you pick a double cab? If yes, we go down this path. Did you pick a double cab? If no, well then did you pick a super cab? We still need to handle the yes path out of here. Did you pick a regular cab? We still need to handle the yes path out of here. Okay, so regular, super, double cab. Now, the nice thing from here is that the super cab and the regular cab have the same validation logic. They can be either the medium bed or the long bed, but not the short bed. So we can take both of these to the same decision point. And I'll just drag this guy here, and we'll say short bed, question mark. Okay. So I'll take my little triangle, we'll drag him down to there. Take a little triangle, drag him down to here. And in this case, if it's either a super cab or a regular cab and a short bed, then we're going to say that's an invalid selection, show error message. And off of this, we'll go ahead and end the program. Again, a better concept might be prompt for the bed size again. So, super cab or regular cab. Short bed, yes, show error message. But if it's not a short bed, by process of elimination, it's either the medium bed or the long bed, and those two combinations are acceptable with a regular cab or a super cab. So I'm going to call out here another process that says show valid confirmation. And then once again, we will go to end. Okay. Now, double cab, super cab, regular cab. Let me label this one, yes. And let me label this one also, yes. Those are the only three cab types that we're allowed to select. But I've left a couple things out here. First of all, let me just kind of use the arrow to move this down and give myself some more room. Okay. Now, what I've left out is I haven't prompted the user for the cab size. So I'm going to drag a process box and I'm going to plop it right here. And I'll say prompt user for cab size. Okay. Maybe I'll scoot that up a little bit and try and make myself a little more room. So scoot all this down again. Squish it down a little bit. Okay. And it looks like this line might be a little bit misaligned. Whoops, no, go away. Okay, so it's a little bit tricky because I have to grab this arrow. Oh, stop that. I'll just redo it. That might be the easiest way. Okay, and yes. Okay. Now I'm also going to say prompt for bed length. Okay. Now, if we take a look at this flowchart, and there's kind of a bit of magic involved in trying to keep it all on one page, but if we take a look at this flowchart, it's almost okay. You see every process box, every one of these rectangles has only one arrow coming out of it. They're allowed to have more than one arrow coming in, but they can't have more than one arrow going out in the outgoing direction. So all of our rectangles have exactly one arrow coming out. And all but one of our decisions have two arrows coming out, a yes and a no. It's supposed to be binary or Boolean. So you see that our decisions all have a yes or a no, except for this regular cab. Now, we need to fix that because double cab, yes or no. If it's a no, we go to super cab. If it's a no, we go to regular cab. For regular cab, the yes path goes down and says, are we a short bed? And then we have a yes and a no path that comes out of that. Okay? Well, we don't have a no path that comes out of regular cab, and that's because there shouldn't be one because it's either a double cab or a super cab or a regular cab. The answer can't be no for each of these. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm just going to draw an arrow that comes back up and says prompt again. So we'll say, if it's not a regular cab, then prompt again. Okay, a couple more things we might want to clean up here. You see we have some redundancy here, show valid confirmation and show error message. Let's try not to duplicate things if we don't have to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that one that is the show valid confirmation, and we're simply going to borrow some existing logic here. If it's a short bed, we know that's invalid. Sorry, if it's not a short bed, we know it's valid. Let's go ahead and reuse this existing show valid confirmation box that we've already created over here. So we can, in other words, kind of reuse some logic. Let me do a little magic to line these up a little bit better. Okay, show error message, again, same thing. We have a show error message box down here on the lower left, but we also have it up here. So what I could do is I could get rid of that show error message box, and I can take this yes arrow and I can drag the terminal point over here to show error message. That's perfectly fine. And this shows that we're reusing some logic, but it's considered bad practice to overlap, so we generally try to minimize this. And in some of the flowcharts that I've created, I've gone to great lengths to try to not show an overlap, even if it means kind of taking this end and moving it around. I don't like the way that worked out. But we could take this yes, we can drag them kind of like this. We almost have it. We can drag them like this, and you see this way we don't have any overlap, but we are showing how we're kind of reusing some logic here. Okay, let me try to clean this up. It's confusing when you have two arrows that are coming out of the same location. Let me try and clean that up a little bit. So this is a little bit better. I'll probably move that end over here. That looks a little more clear. I'll probably even move this guy down here. That looks a little better. Right angles are nice, straight lines are nice. Any time we can keep with that, it's going to make our flow chart a lot more readable. So diamonds show decisions, and decisions can often be chained together, as we see here. Double cab no, super cab no, regular cab yes, short bed no. You see we went through a whole series of decisions there. This flowchart represents the kind of decision logic that we're going to make in the program that follows. So there are several videos that follow this. We're going to do this one step at a time, but keep this in mind. This is the process that we're trying to model. Many times before you write a program, it's a good idea to have a flowchart like this to make sure that you have captured all the scenarios and you don't have any funny scenarios like a no path that's unanswered. You've made all the decisions. You haven't forgotten to make decisions. A little bit of planning, a little bit of flow charting will save quite a bit of time. Thank you.